can't hear anything. Hey, it's Chandler with World Gone Silent. Today I want to talk to you about DMR radios. That's the sound of the radio turning on. This is a DMR radio. That means digital mobile radio. This particular one is the TYT MD380. DMR radios mostly come in two flavors, UHF and VHF, although they do now also offer a radio that can do both. So what's the big deal with the DMR radio? What does that even mean? Looks like another kind of radio, right? This radio does something pretty awesome. This is the handy talkie that I always come back to. It's the Bofang BF-F8HP. This is an analog radio, and this is a digital radio. This radio takes your voice and transmits it as like a sine wave. This radio takes your voice and turns it into digital code, zeros and ones, and then transmits the codes. DMR radios can connect to a repeater, or they can connect to a little dongle, a thing you plug into your computer that goes over the internet and then connects to other radios. It's called a hotspot. So even if you don't have a repeater in your area, you could still use that dongle thing to connect to other types of radios like this. The process of setting up this radio involves something called a code plug. Code plug is probably one of the grossest radio terms I've ever heard. Code plug, or CP, is the various information you plug into the radio. First, you need to sign up for a radio ID. You go to radioid.net. You put in your call sign. Yes, you need a call sign to use this radio too. And then you apply for an identification number. In order to put in that code plug, you need a specific piece of software called CPS, or code plug software. But once you do, you're able to connect all throughout the country and even throughout the world. I mentioned that this is a digital radio. That's the D in DMR. And this is an analog radio. So what does that actually mean? If I use this analog radio to talk to another one, and I start talking, you can hear me talking. That's me talking. These two radios are digital radios, and they're set up on a simplex frequency. When I talk with one to the other, you can totally hear my voice. There's my voice. You may have noticed there was a little bit of a delay. That's the delay of taking my voice, turning it into digital, this radio hearing it, and then unencoding it from digital. Watch what happens when I transmit with the digital radio on the same frequency, what the analog radio hears. Just stuttering noise. Doesn't hear anything at all. Those stuttered tones are because the digital radio cuts the frequency up in that little segments. Unless other people trying to listen into me also have a digital radio configured in the same way as the radio I'm using, all they're going to hear is that, which I think is pretty cool. DMR radios have all sorts of really cool features, way more than I can get into right now. If you want to learn more about DMR radios, I'll have some links below. And if you want to get started in amateur radio, World Gone Silent, of course, is a great place to get started. We've got amateur kits on our website that can get you licensed and on the air super fast. We even have deluxe kits, which include 2 of everything, so you and a friend or a loved one can get licensed and set up together and be able to communicate on amateur frequencies. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.